What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Politics Now, where we talk about modern politics in modern America. And today, we're going to be discussing why Trump is absolutely defeating everyone and dominating them in the polls. So, yeah, let's just get into that. So, Trump, so far, he's been doing pretty dang good. He has been up in the polls in the general election, which, given the fact that this is Trump we're talking about, he never does well in any general election polls. That is pretty impressive. And really, the general election polls, when it's a Republican winning, that's usually deciding which way the popular vote is going to go. Because if you're a Democrat and you're polling at maybe 3 or 4%, you're at the bar where you're at the point that you can actually have a shot at winning the general election. If you're a Republican and you're winning at all, especially if you're Trump, then you not only have a pretty good shot at winning the general election, you have a pretty good shot at winning the popular vote. And just looking at the polling recently, he has been shooting up, up, up. Not only in the general election poll, where again he's now beating Biden by a little bit under a point, and that's pretty big considering that this is Trump. Because if you look at his previous polls, he does not do well against any competition. You look back at 2016, an election that he actually won, he didn't win the popular vote, but still, all the polls were saying that Clinton was going to win by a massive majority. He got it pretty close sometimes, but rarely was he ever up. He was up for maybe 2 weeks at most. Most of it was Clinton up by a couple of points, and even when the election started, Clinton was up still 3.2 points, yet Trump still won. So Trump doesn't necessarily need to be winning the general election polls or even win the popular vote to actually win. And if we're talking about Biden, Biden barely won in a lot of these states in 2020, and he needed to poll pretty dang decently to even have a shot at winning in a lot of those states. Because when the actual election started and the final results came in, he was polling at around 7 points above Trump. And Trump had a lot of things going against him. He was pretty overwhelmingly disapproved, and he had to deal with COVID and all this other crap. And Trump still made it a very tough time to win the 2020 election. And Biden needed a massive boost in the polls to actually win that. And even then, he was only up 4.5 points, which, given the fact that he's a Democrat and Trump had so many things working against him, yeah, that's not awfully impressive. And now, just looking at the polls and looking where Biden is now, he's down almost 5 points from his actual polling data from 2020. And not only is it within the margin of error for Trump, but Trump is actually beating him. And given the fact that ever since around 2008, the general election polls have been naturally skewed towards the Democrats, well, that really calls into question if it's skewed towards the Democrats most of the time, and they overwhelmingly overestimate Democrats in general elections. Well, if Trump is winning, how much is he winning by? Because is he really winning by zero point 0.5 or is he winning by more and they're just trying to save face? Because if he is, if CNN is polling that Trump is winning by a point, which CNN is a left leaning news outlet, and they definitely don't like Trump. So if they're even polling that he's winning, you know something is going wrong. And just looking at the general graph, it has been a constant tug of war for the general election dominance. Biden was up, and then Trump a little bit, and then Biden, and then Trump for a long time, and then Biden, and now Trump is back up. And just looking at these polls, it paints a pretty grim picture for Biden because Biden, he needs to win this general election poll. He needs to have that popular vote in his war chest because if he doesn't have that, he is going to have a very, very tough time at winning a second term because Trump has already proven that he doesn't need the popular vote. He has proven that he can still win all of these states without winning the popular vote. Even by making it more narrow, he still has a pretty decent shot at winning the popular vote. So, just looking at the general election, Trump is doing pretty well considering that it's Trump we're talking about. So, he's doing all right there. And just looking at the primary, it paints an even sadder story. About 5 days ago, he was polling at around 52.7%, and DeSantis was at about 14. Trump has gone up almost 4 points, and DeSantis is back at 13. That is embarrassing. Trump is at his all-time high in terms of not only margin, but his overall percentage. He has never been above 56.3 up to this point, and he has never had a margin above 42 point, I think it was 3. So, just given that, Trump is going to win the nomination. It's not really a doubt, but the fact that Trump is winning by this much and he's dominating in every single state in a primary where he has a lot of competition and a lot of competition that is being heavily backed by a lot of people, and a lot of those people don't want Trump to win. So, given the fact that he's winning by even greater margins than he was in 2016 when he also had everyone against him, that is pretty impressive. And just looking at the state polling, it is sad. Iowa, he is beating DeSantis by 30 points. Let's go to another state. New Hampshire, that's more kind of left leaning Republicans. Oh, he's beating him by 31 points. Okay. Let's pick a different state. How about, we'll go with Florida, his home state of Florida. He should be, oh, wait, no. He's down 10.3. Okay. If he can't even win in his own state, I don't think he's winning in any of these others. Let's check South Carolina. Oh yeah, 34. Uh, where's a place that he might have appeal? Georgia. Georgia is close. Oh no, nope. Okay, so you get the point. He is not doing that great, and DeSantis, he's going to lose. He's going to lose big, and he's going to lose every single state, which, given the fact that he's pretty much riding on a couple of states to save his campaign and sort of just put him back on the map, if he loses Florida, if he loses Utah, if he loses a bunch of these states that are more pro DeSantis, yeah, it's going to be the death blow to his campaign if it isn't already dead, because I mean, he's polling at 13% when he used to be polling at around 30, and Trump is polling at his all-time high at almost 60%. So, yeah, his campaign is pretty much dead, and he's not really doing much to save it. So, Trump has the Republican base on hold. He has all the support that he needs out of his own base, and now he's focusing on the general election. And given his strategy and given the polling, Trump seems to be winning right now. And if you were going to stop the election right now today, Trump would have a pretty decent shot at winning. It would be like maybe 55-45 shot at winning, where Trump has a slight advantage over Biden. And the popular vote is more like a 60-40 split for Biden, where Democrats, they still have a pretty good shot at winning the popular vote, but Trump making it so narrow and so contested, that's really going to hurt Biden in the general election, because Biden needs that popular vote to even withstand a chance of defeating Trump. Trump doesn't need it. If Trump gets it, that's an even bigger boost for him. And he's going to make states like New Hampshire, Maine at large, Virginia, he's going to make those states very contested. And if you're going up against Trump in a very contested election where you are on the back foot and you are losing and you are overwhelmingly disapproved, yeah, you don't generally want that. And if trends keep continuing, where Trump has gone from around, I don't know, 43 points at one point, and he has gone up and up and up, and now he's beating Biden at 45. That is a pretty impressive turnaround, considering how much of a massive hit he took in that one poll by Yahoo News. But still, he is now beating Biden, and he is beating Biden by a pretty decent majority, given the fact that it's such a tight race. And if this trend continues, you're going to see another chance where Trump gets back up to 2.5 points, or maybe even more. Because when it comes to the primary, he's at an all time high. He's at an all-time high in all categories, and he's kicking DeSantis' ass in every single state, including the national scene. So he has the Republican Party on his side, and they're really not going to do much to actually stop him because there's really nothing you can do to actually stop him at this rate. He is going to get the nomination. He is going to kick everyone. He's going to kick everyone's ass here. DeSantis, probably not Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy is basically going for a cabinet position. Nikki Haley, Mike Pence, Chris Christie, Tim Scott. He's kicking all of their asses. And he is going to win the nomination in every single state. So Trump has the nomination secured. Now he's going to focus on the general election, which, looking at the general election, he's doing pretty good. His strategy is clearly working because if you have a losing strategy as a Republican, you're usually not beating your Democrat opposition in a general election poll where you don't do well in polls regardless, but especially a general election poll, yeah, that's not exactly a recipe for success for Biden. So, if you think Trump could win, leave it in the comments below. If you think Biden could win, leave it in the comments below. It's a pretty tight election, but Trump seems to be winning right now, so if I had to wager or bet on who I think would win, I'd probably say Trump. And just given the fact that he's doing this well right now, and if you stop the election right now, he would probably have the advantage. I'm going to bet right now that Trump will probably win, just given the information right now. It is likely to change, but just given the information right now, I have a pretty certain guess that Trump has a pretty decent shot at winning, but leave it in the comments below who you think will win. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.